All right,
Yep.
another week here in the meat market. We're back for another episode. I mean, what a great time to be alive. Chip, how we doing over there?
We'll get to that. We're fighting. We're gutting it out. How are you doing over there, Butch? I mean, it's been a while since we've chatted.
You know, I like the off season. February is a nice month. You get to cool off a little bit, but it's March 3rd now, and combine just happened. I'm starting to get that itch. Um, Excited for free agency to open up next week. I think we'll have some interesting movers. You want to dive right into that? Right into
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, I think the biggest one that comes to mind, one that got announced today, a player getting cut, a guy we actually have been, both familiar with through multiple transactions in this league, Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah, Kyler Murray's getting used and abused in the meat market. Um I think he's gonna be a Jet, a lot of headlines are saying potentially the Vikings are linked with Kyler Murray. I'm not sure. That'd be exciting, that'd be interesting. Would be funny if he ends up being a Viking considering I moved JJ McCarthy for him between,
That'd be
yourself and
hilarious.
I. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Another guy that, I'm just gonna read you off a list of names here, and interject whenever perhaps we get to the end and whatever kinda catches your ear, but we
Yep.
got Alex Pierce, from the Colts. We've got Mike Evans, Malik Willis, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Likely, Romeo Dobbs, Travis Etienne, interesting one,
Interesting.
Rashid Shaheed. And, a lot there is one guy I think, he might not have the name value, but he is available. I know he's been tossed around in a lot of deals. Cade Otton is a free agent.
All right, all right. I'll pass the mic over to myself. I respect the game over there. Interesting names. Malik Willis has been getting a lot of talk. Um, I think that's more interesting for real football than for fantasy in terms of, I mean, you that transaction. I would love to see it go down of how that trade gets done. Purchasing Malik Willis right now seems expensive, but at the same time, who knows? Um, if it works out, I mean, it's a top 5 QB in fantasy with the rushing upside, and we've seen worse players produce, i.e. Justin Fields. Um, I'm curious where Malik Willis ends up. Cardinals have been getting talked about, I believe. Jets would be atrocious. You think Malik Willis can turn around a franchise?
Mm. I don't know if he's gonna have the shelf life for the team. I don't know how much the team's gonna be willing to invest in him.
Hmm.
I think he's got the talent to do it, but will he get the opportunity, on a shitty team like the Cardinals to come in and have a long enough leash to, like, really kinda feel all the pains out? So, my logic says no, but I'd love to see it. I think he's got some interesting value in fantasy. Evan, I think, owns him. Evan, I'm interested. I am interested. I gotta take all the bets I can, fellas. We'll get into that later. Um,
I gotta believe that Dodgen's willing to move Malik Willis. I mean, I've been a Malik Willis fan for a while. Back at Liberty, I think he won me a parlay or two. That's how I found out about him. And then if you rewind the clock far enough, I mean, he was projected to be the first quarterback in that said draft. Happened to drop throughout the recruiting process and the combine and whatnot, but. He was projected to be the number 1 QB at one point for his respective class, so we'll see about him. Another name that's interesting is the running back duo of Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne. Kenneth Walker coming off of an absolute resurgence with the Charbonnet knee injury. Those linger, by the way, Meyer. Yeah, the Titans have been getting talked about. I just don't see how the Seahawks don't bring him back, but apparently that's not on the table. Am I correct? Are they not franchise tagging him?
yeah, I've heard differing takes on this. My understanding is he wants to come back, but it's unclear how likely this is.
Who owns Travis Etienne?
That's Stefan. Stephen Dillon.
Fucking hell, man. We're screwed,
Uh,
guys.
yeah, Stephen Dillon. The Stephen Dillon experience has been one I've been, rather tuned into over the last couple of years. Now, speaking of Stephen Dillon, he had a lot to say about a trade that I guess a series of trades actually really ruffled his feathers. His quote was bad trades." I'm not sure if you saw this in the meat market. I think he was talking about me, and I think we should get into it. I made a large purchase on Mr. Jeremiah Love, relinquished a lot of assets, and then he ultimately found his way onto your team, or at least we assume he did, by virtue of that 1.1 that you acquired from me. I mean, anything you want to talk about there? I will say I also did hit up Kyle Lark to get in on that one. I was hoping he'd bail me out, but
I just want to, but before I give my 2 cents on the trade, I want you to, maybe refute Stephen Dillon and speak your piece. Something was on your mind there. Bad trades. I guess just I'll review the trade after and give my perspective, but I guess the audience wants to know why you made such a move.
I'm not sure I know the reason to that. You see, from where I sit, I don't think any team. Let me rephrase that. I don't think many teams are in title contention. I think there's sort of a select few, maybe 2 to 3, who can reasonably say they have a shot at the title. And so I don't really believe in playing the middle of the field, hoping, trying to squeeze in for the 6th seed. So I went for a splash, relinquished a lot of assets, a lot of future assets. And my hope was, you know what, let me go get a top shelf running back. I don't think from where I'll be drafting these next couple of years, there'll be one at my disposal. Um, so I went and tried to get one. And I think ultimately I was able to get the type of running back I wanted in the exchange with you. I got a Travion Henderson, a guy who, according to Maurice Jones-Drew, is a future Hall of Fame talent,
That's what he said.
and Rashee Rice, and a pick, I think. So, I mean, ultimately, I don't think it was that bad of a deal, all things considered, but especially not for Evans' 2027 first, which very well could be like the 110, 11, or 12, right? So,
Right. I mean, to back you up a little, I mean, I guess I have to. It's a little biased. I'm the person receiving the 101. But yeah, Travion Henderson would have been the second running back in this class. And, I mean, Jonathan Brooks at one point was getting drafted in rookie drafts top 4, top 3. Travion Henderson would have been the number 1 running back in that class. So Travion coming out of a strong class, I still think it's a blue chip running back. Patriots did make the Super Bowl. He did get weeded out in the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. He's very young, so we'll see. And a question mark in Rashee, who, I mean, if he's on the field, he's on the field. It's that simple. We can call him Josh Gordon at this point if he gets suspended again, but if he's on the field, he's going to be top 12. So I don't think he did terrible. I think looking back at the initial trade to acquire the 101 is where you maybe misstepped, which is just a shock to me. It, you let Drew get you. I gotta be honest. You let Drew get you, and it was in terms of maybe a extra first, and luckily the 2029s load up after the rookie draft, so you'll have more to play with. But I mean, if Travion hits, I think you're fine here. Who knows what I do with the 101? It's a long time till Scottsdale. I am excited after the combine. His dad scares me a little bit. I don't know if you saw the cameo at the NFL. Jeremiah runs a 4.36. They pan to his dad in the stands that is just shaking his head in disappointment.
yeah, I guess, you can't win them all. I don't know how we get much better than a 4.36. That's at 6 foot, 210, 217 pounds, whatever he is. But
Stefan may hate on you for this trade. We'll get away from this after this, but Stefan may hate on you for this trade, but he did acquire CeeDee Lamb for the 104, which obviously he wins that trade, so he's not going to talk shit about it, but just another transaction that you could quote as bad trades. Neither here nor there. I want to get back to the prospects that are entering free agency. The whole Stephen Dillon topic got brought up because of Travis Etienne. Do you think Travis Etienne is going to be a Kansas City Chief, or will Jeremiah Love make it to the 8th pick, the 9th pick?
mm, I have a hard time. Jeremiah Love might not get out of the top 5.
I'm
Um,
hearing terrifying reports that are saying that. And if he's a Titan, um, I don't want him. Point
I wouldn't
blank
put that
period.
on tape. I wouldn't put that on tape.
No, point blank period. If he's a Titan, you guys could come get the 101 in Scottsdale. Um,
I might
I
be
pers-
reaching out to you.
yeah,
I've
I
got to
personally
get
won't
some
want
stuff
him
for you.
if he's on the Titans.
Yeah, I'll trade you trade up for him for sure, but we'll
So
get there.
we'll circle back April 25th or whatever it is, April 24th. Yeah, I think Travis Etienne could be a Chief if the Chiefs don't take a stab in the draft. They're gonna have to be probably quick on Etienne. He's 27 though. He's a little old, but he's got the juice for like a Chief offense.
I agree with that.
Daniel Jones gets franchise tagged or transition tagged. I don't think anyone's gonna outbid the Colts there, so he's probably gonna remain on the Colts for a season. That's interesting, coming off the Achilles tear in week 14 or something in December. Um, what's going on with Mike Evans? Who's got Mike Evans?
Mike
Ring my
Evans, fucking scrub. Absolute
uh
nobody. He's gone. Emeka Egbuka's put him in the coffin. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. It's Ibuka's world. We're just living in it. The light-skinned African is here to stay, and he's gonna be the wide receiver 1 next year in Tampa. Book it.
Interesting. Yeah, hopefully Baker has a better year, stays healthy. Another trade that happened while we're talking about trades, that had offseason implications for the NFL was Riley Gary and Nick Friedel made a little move here. Riley Gary received Luke McCaffrey and a 2027 third for David Montgomery. David Montgomery just got signed to the Texans. This trade took place before the Texans signing. Break this down. What do you think happened here? Do you think this was easy? Do you think this was just a quick send or a couple back and forths?
Yeah, I think Riley Gary's pick maxing, so he's looking to get as many picks as he possibly can, and I respect that from Riley Gary. I think he's got a keen eye for talent, and I think he's going to put on a show this year in the draft. Uh, as far as what Nick Friedel did here, I think I got to tip the cap to him. I'm not sure if Nick had an ear to the street over there in Texas. I mean, he's a Texans fan. Maybe the Friedel family is, greased a couple pockets out there in Houston and had an ear to the street that I perhaps guess we didn't, but I think it was a healthy exchange. I'm not a big David Montgomery guy. To me, he's a fucking nobody. And I think he's going to go out there and maybe get out competed by Woody Marks. So not too much to say here, but I think on paper, Nick Friedel has an opportunity to get David Montgomery off for cheap. I think there might even be an offer in his inbox for David Montgomery for myself. So Nick,
You're an interesting cat the way you move. Speaking of pick maxing, I see a move that you made actually with the bushwhacker himself, who may have coined the pick maxing formula himself. So you moved Jalen Warren, Xavier Legette, the 209, the 410, and Mayo Levis for the 205. You got some names you got some names in your back pocket around that 205 or something? What are we thinking moving all those players for 4 spots there in the second round?
I do have my big board pulled up here to the right of me. Not sure I want to reveal this quite yet. Maybe here soon I will. Maybe even by the end of that. Like you said, I'm a loose cannon, man. Who knows what I'll do? But there's a chance this big board gets revealed on screen at some point in time. I will say there are some names there. I think the fall off after the 2-5 is interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised, if a guy like what's his bucket from Alabama, Ty Simpson's available there at 2-5. I mean, I don't think people are super high on him. I could see him going before that, but that could be a first-round quarterback available somewhere there in that early second round, and I'm at the 2-5, and he's there at the 2-3. Maybe I'll trade up, maybe I won't. Or maybe somebody else will reach on him, and there'll be a prospect that falls to me. So I think it's a sweet spot. We saw that last year, and I'm willing to bet it happens again.
Yep, Jackson Dart did get picked, I believe, between that 2-3, 2-5 spot, and you see what he turned into. I believe Twain purchased him for a first, second, and third, and Twain can get that back in value if you wanted to move him now. So, yeah, interesting move by yourself getting into that 2-5 spot. I'm curious who you end up snagging there. Scrolling to some more trades because I know we had them. We had a little flurry there. Um, it I see what you did here. Okay, you moved Chris Olave to Evan Dodge, and you're quite active the last calendar month here, Chip. Chris Olave in the 109, and you received the 110, 209, and 107. So I'm looking at you bought Chris Olave for the 110, and you brought Chris Olave for the 107 and 209, and got a pick swap. Um,
Yeah, I think I got Chris Olave from Drew at
way
some
back
point
when.
last year. Yeah, I don't know what the pick was worth. Look, I lose track. I forgot I even made that trade until you brought it up. So yeah, I
Yeah,
looked at like I think I got 2 firsts out of that, kind of with a pick swap and a second. I don't I have to actually look at it myself, honestly.
yeah. That was a day after you moving the 101, so you may have blacked out for 48 hours there. Another. Actually, let me close that one. We already talked about that one. Um,
Well, can I just yeah, I'd like to provide a little so I gave up Olave in the 1-9. I got the 1-7, the 1-10, and the 2-0. Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't hate that trade,
I don't.
honestly. It's 25,
No.
maybe 26. I think it's a
I
good
don't
move
hate it
there.
at all. I mean, you're trying to snipe players in the draft. I don't hate it at all. And then you move that 209 for the Jalen Warren ad on the previous trade is just shocking. But hey, I'm
I
all
look at
for.
those guys like, what are they going to do for me next year? Like, is there really any value? What can I really get for Jalen Warren? Do I want to wait and he gets injured and then he gets out Gainwelled and then it's just like he's not
Yeah,
worth a
cut bait.
3? Who even's buying Jalen Warren for a 2? I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of.
I understand cut bait. We did do a monster 3-way trade. About 10 days after we opened up the league. I wish Mari was here to talk about it because it was a whole lot of movement and we sparked a lot of excitement here in the league. I received Tyreek Hill, Brian Thomas, and Aronde Gatson. I sent Tyler Warren the 310 and 109. You received the 109, Terry McLaurin and the 310, and you sent Romo Dunze, Keon Coleman, and Aronde Gatson. Meyer received Romo Dunze, Keon Coleman, and Tyler Warren. Um, Meyer gets to stack Romo Dunze with Caleb Williams. That's exciting. And then he gets to bolster up his tight end position, with Tyler Warren. I acquired Brian Thomas and Aronde Gatson. I think that was just a good spot for me to sell Warren, maybe take a shot on Brian Thomas, who can gain immense value during this season. And then you got your 109, 310, and Terry McLaurin. Just another example of you taking a shot on picks. What's the plan with Terry McLaurin? I gotta assume he's in some inboxes right now.
Yeah, I've got to hold on. Give me 1 second, actually. I got to figure out the name of the Washington Commanders OC. David Blah. There's a clip that came out with David Blah
I know you're
where
talking
he
about.
says this offense is going to center around getting Terry McLaurin 10 plus targets a game. Deebo Samuel's a free agent this year. Scary Terry McLaurin might just be back, and he might be back in magnificent fashion. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's worth an early second, a late first for a contending team, or perhaps I can swap into a younger player who maybe underperforms his draft stock, who's taken in the first round. I'm all about taking on leverage this season, guys. So if I'm holding an asset, the asset's got some amount of upside, whether it's likely or not. The upside is there. That's not debatable. I'm not taking any of these mid-tier Jalen Warren, high floor, low ceiling guys. It's all low floor, high ceiling, windows to the wall approach. So, if you got some picks to get rid of, if you're itching, Kyle Lark, Nick Friedel, guys I've had some choice words with back in the day, hit me up. I do good business.
um, All right, moving on. I mean, I think it'd only be right for us to have an Akipo segment with or without him. So I got Akipo's team pulled up, coming off that big 3-way trade that we were both involved in. Um, I'm looking at his roster and he's filled some holes since maybe it was November, December, whenever that move happened. That he moved CMC and then all hell broke loose. Caleb Williams, Bijan, Bucky Irving. Great start. Tedero McMillan, Romo Dunze, fantastic start. Excuse me. Cortland Sutton, Tyler Warren, Romeo Dobbs, Matthew Stafford. Okay, he's almost through and through fantastic starting lineup for Dynasty. Picks, he's got the 302, 308. So I don't know what he's gonna really do with that. And maybe he gets lucky. I don't know what Katz's scouting department's up to this offseason. He's got Charbonnet on IR, Kelsey in the chamber, Quentin Johnson.
I,
Interesting group of guys here. Is he a
okay.
top 3 team in the league?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. It's a really interesting build. I love Warren. I love the Warren, McMillan, Bijan,
Mm-hmm.
Odunze, Caleb Williams. But there's some interesting pieces on here. Stafford, Cortland Sutton, and Romeo Dobbs. I don't know how. I'm very curious to see what he does in these upcoming drafts because there's not much capital there to play with. Uh, and the question becomes, which one of these guys is he going to get rid of to go and get a suitable starter? And is Matthew Stafford even coming back this year? I mean, we don't know. These are unanswered questions. So Akipo, if you're in the market for a Sam Darnold type guy, let me know. He's certainly available. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, he may not have movable pieces to gain value back in the sense of the bottom of his roster, but I mean, he's definitely has opportunities to down tier with Caleb and Bijan and Bucky and Tet. So we'll see what he does. I'm curious. I think he's a top 3 team in the league. Got to keep my eye on Akipo. Ever since I sold him Bijan, I think I started a monster.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just gonna read you off a couple. Like, there's some rosters here that are real head scratchers to me.
Yeah,
Where it's just,
let's go through that. Let's go fraud alert.
I was a year early last year, but it's better to be, the first guy out than the last guy in the club. We've done all the analogies here first. Kyle Lark is on the chopping block for me. Um, Dak Prescott, old. He's like 34, I think. Jonathan Taylor, don't really think he's, interesting fall off last year after those first 6, 7 games. Really never ascended back to that peak. Kenneth Gainwell's in the starting lineup. I mean, holy shit. Puka Nakua, all right, but he's been having some drunk nights over there at Chateau Marmont. So we'll see what he becomes. Soft Tissue Higgins, Stephon Diggs, Dallas Goddard, AJ Brown. I don't know. Josh Allen put up an absolute fucking stinker of the last few games. I'm just saying, Kyle Lark, the cliff might be here, but if you're ever looking to keep those playoff hopes alive, DeAndre Swift has your name all over him. I think be a great asset for your team. Kyle Lark, fraud. That's what my vote is.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's a couple rosters that I'm worried about, and the rest, if they pop up and have a run the first 4 weeks of the season or make some monster moves this summer, then yeah, so be it. But yeah, definitely got my eye on Stefan and Akipo. I think those two rosters are ready to compete right now. If it was week 1
Steph,
tomorrow.
you said?
Yeah, I think with the off season, I think Steph's team is going to be great. I mean, Drake May's coming off his biggest year. He's QB2 in Dynasty right now, based off the internet nerds. Jared Goff is serviceable as a QB2, so I'm not worried about that. And then, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron, Travis Etienne, great 3 backs in the stable. If Travis Etienne ends up on a good roster, it's
We
even
got a
more dangerous.
5'9" Mexican running back, a 30-year-old white guy, and the guy who currently isn't on a team in Travis Etienne. We're starting Dalton Schultz. Ladd McConkey had like 700 yards last year. Justin Jefferson's quarterback's the guy that everyone told me I was an idiot for trading for. And CeeDee Lamb's the wide receiver 2 in Dallas. There's always got to be someone to speak some reality into these segments. And I'm
Yes.
no, because I get it, right? Last year I didn't have the dog, but when I'm looking at some of these teams, yeah, Steph's team on paper is an All-American, but for whatever reason, whether it's who he plays, when he plays them, or whatever excuse he's going to use, the team ends up being utter dog shit when you look at the record at the end of the year. So Steph, we had the connection, but you threw me under the bus. You quoted bad trades. So I think our beef's igniting. I think I'm gonna go bad on you. So that's where I'm at with Steph.
Actually, pull up Evan's team. I want you to dissect it. I'm gonna give my bid, and you play devil's advocate. Jordan
Okay.
Love, Ashton Genty going into the sophomore year should have Fernando Mendoza and Clint Kubiak. Offense should be better. James Cook, Joe Brady staying. Offense is gonna stay the same. Don't see why James Cook would fall off. Drake London, questionable QB situation. Stefanski, not sure they're going to pass that much. Still Drake London. Chris Olave coming off his best season or better season than his last two. Tyler Shuck should be the starting quarterback. Feeds Olave the ball. Zay Flowers. Is tight end situation. What was that look? I mean, Zay Flowers is just a top 20 guy. It just is what it is. Tucker Kraft, Dalton Kincaid. I would say that's on the better side of tight ends in the league. Brock Purdy's his other quarterback, and he's got the 105, 112, 109.
Yep. I think this is gonna surprise some people. Evan, I respect what he's done. I like his build. I like his team. I would position him over Steph in terms of teams I would be on the lookout for. That 105, 112, and 109 is kind of nasty. You look at the team as it is right now, you're like, okay, interesting. In my opinion, he's only really got to hit on one of those picks to seriously be a contender. And if he can hit on two, or pull a rabbit out of the hat like he did last year and hit on three of those picks, it might be tough sledding for some teams in this league. So I really have nothing negative to say about Evan's team, actually. Yeah, I'm letting the beef go with guys like Evan. He's probably going to write something in that diary of his anyways. I don't give a fuck. I'm not reading it. But I wish you luck this year. And I respect what you've built. I'm going to leave it at that. Noah Furrow's an interesting team to digest here. Ha. I mean, we got Mahomes at 30 coming off an ACL. Saquon Barkley, touted by Furrow here as the curse breaker. I don't see that. He was outgained last year on averages by Tank Bigsby. I'm just saying. Alvin Kamara, I'm not sure if you could get a third for Alvin Kamara right now. He does have the wide receiver one in Dallas. Jalen Waddle's going to be catching balls from Quinn Ewers. Jameson Williams is interesting, but there's a lot of variance. McBride, he's running 21 personnel out here with McBride and Pitt in his starting lineup. So I don't know. I really don't know. Jaden
Jeez.
Higgins, Garrett Wilson, and Cam Ward on the bench. I'm at a loss with Noah Furrow's team. This could be a contender, a pretender. I really don't know.
Yeah, this team didn't make the playoffs 2 years ago and was in the championship 2 months ago. So
Yeah.
shows you the variance. When it works, and when it doesn't, you're left scratching your head. I'm curious if he rolls these guys out again. I got a feeling Noah's going to be a Scottsdale guy. He's gonna arrive in Scottsdale with one team, and he's gonna leave with a different team. We'll see how that unfolds, but that's
We've
my
been
bet.
selling that story about Furrow every offseason. Oh, Furrow's going to
He
do this.
did buy McBride. He did buy McBride and made it to the
I'm
made
not
it to
going
the
to
chip.
speak to, Riley Gary. I love Riley Gary, and I love everything he's about and what he brings to this league. There's some absolute sharks in this league who I think, yeah, there's just some sharks in this league, and I think Noah Furrow smelled some blood in the water last year, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Riley Gary, don't you know what? Take that one on the chin, brother. I would not have done the trade, but then again, I also traded fucking 12 picks for Jeremiah Love. So what do I know? At the end of the day, though, Furrow, I don't know how you got McBride, but
He also for I know it doesn't sound pretty, but he was wide receiver. I don't know, top 25 wide receiver. Jalen Waddle. He did trade for Jalen Waddle. He moved Ayuk Mims in a third. I think that's two crucial trades. He doesn't make many, but those were two crucial trades for him last season to push him into the playoffs, and then obviously Beat
Yeah.
me, beat
Jalen
me, and
Waddle's 5'10". I don't give a fuck about Jalen Waddle.
yeah, I gotta show my respect to trust the process just because he knocked me out of the playoffs. So it is what it
Yeah. No,
is.
I respect him. Jalen Waddle from Quinn Ewers, that connection to me, this the South Dade County Express. I don't believe in it, but we'll see what happens.
You know,
Uh,
there is a 12th manager in this league. I don't know if you've forgotten Toe Burrow in the Brand DeLorean.
that's right. Youth. Yeah, this one's one of the stranger rosters to me.
He's got the
It's so
103
hard.
and 106.
And this is another guy who just might be right back in the mix here. I mean, Herbert, interesting. The Herbert Hampton, conundrum. I don't know exactly what you call it. Is Herbert going to vulture rushing touchdown? I don't know. But there's a couple pieces on here that are interesting to me. Alec Pierce.
At the 103, he's gonna get Tyson Lemon or Tate. Obviously, one of the three will be there.
Yep.
Two of the three will be there. So he's gonna get quote unquote a blue chip prospect receiver. Yeah, I know. You know what? Let's segue right into that. Everyone knows who the top 5 players are in the draft, or the top 4 at least.
Mekhi Lemon
Let's
fucking stinks.
yeah. How does it shake up with previous classes? Let's say the neighbors Romo Dunze class, the receiver gauntlet. Um, where
I
where
would
does where does Tate go in that draft?
Tate is comparable to me to Odunze. Now Odunze was a freakish college prospect. If you go back and look at the tape, he was returning punts. He was mossing people left and right. I don't know if he was banged up a lot over the last couple of years or what exactly, if it's been the Caleb Williams experience or what exactly is going on. He looks like an entirely different player. They're using him differently. Um, so that actually gives me a little bit of pause with Tate because honestly, I think from a prospect standpoint, he's close to Odunze, but I would have given Odunze the higher grade. Odunze is a little more explosive. Odunze could do a little bit more in space than I think Tate can. But maybe it'll be a landing spot thing. So I have a little bit of pause with Tate for that reason. Mekhi Lemon, I think, is Khalil Shakir with good marketing. And Jordan Tyson is the one to me who has by far the most upside. I mean, I think he's a 6'2" Malik Neighbors. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I'm looking at that class that was Odunze, BTJ, Worthy, Ricky Pearsall, Leggett, um, Brian Thomas went 23rd, and then Xavier Worthy went 28 with the record-setting 40 time. Ricky Pearsall 31, and Xavier Leggett to end the first round at 32. I'm putting all 3 of those receivers we were just talking about for 2026. I put them all above Xavier Worthy, even before he ran that combine. Um, I put them all behind Brian Thomas Jr.
I would
I,
agree with that.
I
Tate,
think I think Tate would be before Brian Thomas Jr. simply based off the fact that he's Ohio State's guy.
and he
Outside of Jeremiah,
probably will be a top 10 pick. So he's going to have a little more draft cap.
I'm trying to remember how I felt about BTJ. During that whole draft process,
Yep.
LSU streaker, high touchdowns in his final season at LSU. It was kind of people were questioning it, and he came out and obviously blew up the NFL. His rookie season had a down year last year. Yeah, interesting. Tyson's for sure. I'd agree has the highest upside. Injuries scare me. His history scares me. We'll see. Everyone knows who Kenyon Sadiq is now because of the combine. Um, interested to see where he falls. Interested to see where Fernando Mendoza gets drafted in our rookie draft. We know he's the 101 to the Raiders, but I mean, at the 102 we got Drew now, who's probably going to snag Cardinal Tate because OHIO. 103 we got Brandon, who's got Joe Burrow and Herbert as his quarterbacks. Does he make a move? Does he take the value in Mendoza? 104 is Riley Gary. I think he may go off the board there to Riley Gary, but we'll figure it out. I don't even know if Riley Gary will have the 104 by Scottsdale.
Riley, if you get a call, don't just give me a ring, brother, please. Just give me a ring if you can. I'd love to just talk to you. That's it.
um, Here at the 35-minute mark, no one's hopped in. Kind of disappointed in the league. I know it was last minute, but would love to hear from you guys or get the chat going. I think the chat's at a level 4 right now. I get it. It's March 3rd, but early bird gets the worm and free agency opens up next week. So, you know, like Friedel, I'd go and snag those guys before it's too late. Um, anything else you got to speak on before we get out of here?
Man, we've gone through a lot. Not not too much. Now, you know, there's been a lot said about my team. There's been a lot said about the moves that I have and have not made. The one team we did not break down as we went through all this was mine. So I want to give you guys an unbiased look behind the curtains here, presented by the Meat Market Sweatshop. So without further ado, we got Sam Darnold at quarterback, Super Sam, Super Bowl champion. That's something that only a handful of starting quarterbacks in the NFL today can actually say. So remember that, guys. And when you're in the trade market, go get a winner. Best predictor of success is past success. Anyways, Travion Henderson, Maurice Jones-Drew said Hall of Fame talent. What do I know? But probably nothing. Just listen to Hall of Famer Quinshawn Judkins, Milk Jug. Great player. Rashi Rice, Emeka Egbuka. I mean, that's there's a lot of talent isolated in those four players, and I think there's a lot of upside to be had. And of course, Kate Otten. I know he's been making his way in a lot of trades. A lot of the feedback I get is no Otten. So
Do you think any of those trades would have went through if you just didn't throw Otten in there?
yeah, it's confused. He's had 59 catches in each of the last two seasons. Um, you know, he's not a bad player. Like it's interesting to me. I'm just saying. Kate Otten, he's available. Travis Hunter. Now this is a guy I know we've heard a lot of shit about. DB. Listen, he's the best fucking wide receiver in Jacksonville. I'll keep saying it. He's not available. And I'm just telling you, there's a lot of upside on this team. So I know I'm being written off, but I don't know if I'm writing back just yet. So
Yeah.
that's you know.
Who knows what transpires? I mean, it's March 3rd. We got a lot of time till September kicks off, and I know if I know you at all, this is not going to be the roster you roll into week 1 with. So I am curious, and you are a huge proponent of making trades during the actual rookie draft. So I wouldn't be shocked if some things go down there. Yeah, excited to see what transpires here the next month or so, until the actual NFL draft takes place. Good luck to everyone. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's one last roster. I don't know how we could have forgotten this. A guy who's been, vocal, a guy who's been, dare I say, treacherous in this league, a guy whose reputation
Mm,
precedes himself, the terrorist. A guy who's been outspoken about my roster as well. Um, I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I do want to just speak to what he's rolling out there as of today.
fair enough.
Javonte Williams,
Signed.
Rico Dowdle, free agent. Devontae Smith, DJ Moore, Christian Watson. Can I interest you in a Kyle Monangai? How about a Jacoby Brissett? Finally, Harold Fannin. Now, I do like Fannin if he's available. Um, and then, of course, I mean, I'd be remiss to add Daniel Jones on the bench, Najee Harris on the bench, Jackson Dart, of course. Um, Ayuk, Pittman. I mean, holy shit! Half this roster might be in the Santa Clara County Penitentiary by the end of the year, but we'll see what happens. Of course, got the 108, and the 2028 first as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. I think the terrorist has been known to set off a few bombs. And if you're looking for a running mate, terrorist, let me know. I'm ready. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we didn't go through Drew's. I think we all know what's going on over there. He's got Sam Laporta, CJ Stroud, and absolutely nothing. And then we didn't go through Riley Gary's much, but the last time we talked about Riley Gary's roster, a whole lot of shit went down. So let's just keep it as it is. Good luck to everyone. make some moves, make them wisely. And hey, man, um, this year could be your year until you pull up my roster. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good one. It's episode whatever of the meat market.